Do you have million-dollar ambitions, but what feels like a $10 budget for physical effort? You have a vision board that looks like a page from Fortune 500, but your daily to-do list feels like an insurmountable mountain. You'll spend hours architecting the perfect, most efficient system to complete a project. But when it comes time to do the actual grunt work, your brain hits a wall. You get called lazy by others, or worse, you call yourself lazy. And there's a constant nagging guilt that you are wasting your massive potential. What if I told you this isn't a character flaw? What if this feeling was not a bug in your system, but a deeply ingrained feature? There is a profound psychological reason behind the lazy, ambitious mind. It's a wiring that has powered some of the greatest innovators and thinkers in history. They just understood how to use the operating system that you were born with. In this video, we're going to give you the user manual. You will learn why your brain works this way and how to turn it into your greatest strategic advantage. So if you've ever felt misunderstood for being a strategic thinker in a world obsessed with busy work, this is for you. Stay tuned because you're about to feel very, very seen. Welcome to the definitive guide for the lazy, ambitious mind. For too long, the narrative has been that success is only born from relentless, grinding, hard work. That being busy is a badge of honor. But for people like us, that has never felt right. Our brains seem to scream for a different path, a smarter path, a more leveraged path. Today, we're going to give that instinct a name and a framework, backed by psychology. First, we will dive into the core psychology, exploring why your brain is hardwired to be a strategic minimalist. You'll understand the science of energy conservation that governs your every decision. Then we'll look at how this exact trait creates the innovator's mindset, turning your aversion to grunt work into a secret weapon for success. After that, we must confront the dark side. We'll explore that razor's edge where strategic efficiency bleeds into self-sabotaging avoidance. And finally, and most importantly, I will equip you with the Lazy Ambitious Toolkit. These will be 3 concrete, practical strategies you can use immediately to harness your nature. By the end of this video, the word lazy will no longer be an insult. It will be a description of your competitive advantage. So why does your brain do this? Why does it resist what seems like necessary work? The first and most important concept to understand is that your brain is not lazy. It's an energy conservation machine. From an evolutionary perspective, wasting energy on low-yield activities was literally a death sentence. Your brain, the most energy-hungry organ in your body, has been optimized over millennia to find the path of least resistance. For you, this instinct is just turned up to 11. Think of your brain like a hyper-advanced computer CPU with a limited power supply. It instinctively knows that running 10 inefficient background processes will drain the battery before the main important program can be executed. Your laziness is the CPU's thermal throttle, preventing a system-wide burnout on tasks it deems unimportant. This makes you a natural strategic minimalist. Imagine a software team tasked with building a new app. The busy developer starts coding immediately, hitting roadblocks and rewriting large sections of code for 3 days. The strategic minimalist developer spends a full day thinking, whiteboarding, and designing the system's architecture. To an outsider, they look unproductive for that first day. But on day 2, they write clean, efficient code that works perfectly and takes half the time. That is your native language. This way of thinking is also deeply connected to the Pareto Principle, more commonly known as the 80-20 rule. The idea is that in many systems, roughly 80% of the results come from only 20% of the effort. Most people have to be taught to look for this 20%. Your brain does it automatically. It is constantly scanning the environment, trying to identify those high-leverage activities and ruthlessly ignoring the low-leverage 80%. Think of yourself as a venture capitalist for your own time and energy. A VC does not give a little money to every company. They make big, concentrated bets on the few they believe will deliver exponential returns. You do the same with your focus. When you procrastinate on cleaning the garage but spend hours learning a new skill that could double your income, you're not being lazy. You are making a strategic portfolio decision about where to invest your most precious assets. This is why you feel a near physical pain when forced to do bureaucratic, repetitive, or seemingly pointless tasks. It's not just boredom. It's your brain's core operating system flagging an activity as a terrible investment of energy. It's a signal. And understanding this signal, rather than feeling guilty about it, is the first step to unlocking its power. So now we know your brain is wired for efficiency, not laziness. This relentless drive for a better, easier way is not just a personal preference, it's the engine of all human progress. This is what we call the innovator's mindset. This is where your perceived flaw officially becomes your superpower. History is not written by people who enjoyed doing things the hard way. It's written by people who were so profoundly annoyed by the hard way that they were forced to invent a better one. This is the essence of the innovator's mindset. Your aversion to grunt work is not a distraction from the goal. It's a compass pointing you towards the most innovative solution. Consider the classic group project scenario. The team needs to manually copy and paste data from 100 different websites, a task that will take 10 agonizing hours. Most of the team groans and starts copying. But you, the lazy, ambitious one, immediately think this is an insane waste of human life. So you spend 2 hours on YouTube learning how to write a simple web scraping script. Your team is annoyed you're not helping. Then you run the script and it does the entire 10-hour job in 5 minutes. You did not just save 8 hours on this one task. You built a new capability, an asset that eliminates that category of work forever. This is not a small difference in approach. It is a fundamental difference in thinking. You are a systems builder, not a task doer. Look at the world of modern tech and entrepreneurship. The entire software as a service industry is built on this principle. Every app like Slack, Asana, or an automatic accounting tool was created by someone who looked at a tedious manual business process and said, there has to be a better way. They were lazy, ambitious people who decided to automate inefficiency out of existence. Even in the creator economy, this mindset is a key differentiator. The successful YouTuber is not the one who works the hardest in a literal sense. It's the one who builds a system for batch recording, who hires an editor for the 20% of work they are worst at, who creates templates to streamline their workflow. They are obsessed with return on effort. This is crucial. Your focus is not on avoiding work. Your focus is on avoiding wasted work. You're not lazy about the climb. You're just impatient with any part of the climb that does not actually take you higher. This makes you an exceptional problem solver and a natural leader, because you do not just see the tasks in front of you. You see the entire system and instinctively know where to apply pressure to get the most significant result. In a world drowning in information and trivial tasks, this ability to find the signal in the noise is not just a nice to have. It is perhaps the most valuable cognitive skill of the 21st century. You are designed for leverage. You see the shortcut that is not about cutting corners, but about cutting complexity. That's why organizations will eventually pay you more to think for an hour than to work for a week. If this is resonating and you're starting to see yourself as a strategic minimalist, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. We go deep on the psychology of high performance like this every single week, and I'd love to have you as part of our community. But with great power comes a great potential for self-destruction. And we have to talk about the dark side of the lazy, ambitious mind. There is a razor-thin edge between strategic efficiency and chronic avoidance. And it is a trap that is incredibly easy to fall into because it feels almost the same from the inside. Strategic efficiency is waiting for the perfect wave to surf so you can ride it all the way to the shore. Chronic avoidance is sitting on the beach convincing yourself the water is too cold, the sun is too bright, and your board is not quite right, all while the sun sets. Both involve a lot of waiting and thinking, but one leads to a thrilling ride and the other leads to regret. The dark side emerges when your brilliant mind for optimization is hijacked by fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being perfect. This is when planning becomes a form of highbrow procrastination. Think of the aspiring entrepreneur who has a brilliant business plan. But instead of making that first scary sales call, they spend 3 months perfecting the logo or optimizing the website's font pairings. They are using low-stakes intellectual tasks to hide from the high-stakes emotionally difficult task that would actually move the business forward. Their efficiency-seeking brain is now creating elaborate justifications for avoidance. This leads to the dreaded state of analysis paralysis. Your ability to see 10 steps ahead becomes a curse because you also see the 10,000 things that could go wrong on each step. So you do nothing, frozen by the sheer weight of possibility. So how can you tell which side of the line you're on? You have to ask yourself 2 brutally honest questions. Is this thinking time producing a concrete, simplified plan of action, or is it creating more complexity and more questions? Efficiency simplifies. Avoidance complicates. Does the next step you're contemplating feel intellectually stimulating but emotionally safe, while the step you're avoiding feels emotionally scary but vital for progress? If the answer is yes, you're likely in the dark side. Your brain is using your intelligence as a shield to protect your feelings. Recognizing this is not a reason for shame. It's the moment of liberation. Because once you can see the bars of the cage, you can start looking for the key. Okay, this is where we turn theory into action. You understand the why. You've seen the good and the bad. Now here is the how. Welcome to the Lazy Ambitious Toolkit. 3 concrete strategies to master your mind. Tool number 1 is the 5% rule. When you're facing a massive, intimidating project and are frozen by analysis paralysis, stop looking at the 100-hour problem. Your only job is to identify the most leveraged, smallest possible first step, the 5% action that unlocks the next 50%. Is it sending one email? Is it writing the first sentence? Is it buying the domain name? This appeals to your 80-20 brain, but forces you into action instead of just thought. Tool number 2, strategic inefficiency time boxing. This sounds counterintuitive, but it's incredibly powerful for breaking inertia. Schedule a 30-minute block of time where you give yourself permission to do dumb work inefficiently. No optimizing, no system building, just mindless forward motion on a task you've been avoiding. By making the inefficiency a deliberate, controlled choice, you rob it of its power to cause guilt, and you often find the momentum you were missing. Finally, tool number 3, and this one is for your career, develop an elevator pitch for your process. You will constantly be misunderstood by bosses, colleagues, and clients who operate on a busyness paradigm. You need to learn how to translate your thinking time into a language they understand and respect. So instead of saying, "I have not started yet," you learn to say, "I'm currently in the architecture phase to ensure we build this correctly the first time and avoid costly revisions." Instead of "I'm thinking about it," you say, "I'm identifying the key leverage points to maximize our impact." This is not about lying. It's about accurately and strategically communicating the value of your deep work. It reframes your laziness as strategy, not just for others, but for yourself as well. So let's bring it all together. Being lazy and ambitious is not a contradiction you need to fix. It is a strategic orientation you need to master. We've learned that your brain is not lazy. It's an energy conservation expert, making you a natural strategic minimalist. This very drive for efficiency makes you an innovator, a systems builder who is allergic to wasted effort. We've also faced the dark side, understanding that this power can be hijacked by fear, turning optimization into avoidance. And now you have a toolkit to break paralysis, build momentum, and communicate your unique value to the world. You are not broken for wanting to find the shortcut. The world is just full of people who are busy walking in circles, mistaking movement for progress. Your gift is the ability to see the straight line through the chaos. It is the ability to see the path of least resistance to the greatest impact. Stop apologizing for it. Stop feeling guilty about it. Start owning it. Start honing it, and start using it to achieve the very ambitions that define you. If this video provided you with a new framework, please share it with one other strategic minimalist in your life who needs to hear this. And I want to know, what is one task you're going to apply the 5% rule to this week? Let us know in the comments below.